have spent my life searching for the answers that my father and my father's fathers failed to find. Who were the precursors? Why did they create the vast monoliths that litter our planet? How did they harness eco, the life energy of the world? What was their purpose? And why did they vanish? I have asked the plants, but they do not remember. The plants have asked the rocks, but the rocks do not recall. Even the rocks do not recall. Every bone in my body tells me that the answers rest on the shoulders of a young boy. Oblivious to his destiny, uninterested in the search for truth, and rejecting of my guidance. And why would he want to listen to old Samus the Sage anyway? I'm only the master of green eco, one of the wisest men on the planet. So it seems the answer begins not with careful research or sensible thinking. Nay, as with many of fate's mysteries, it begins with but a small act of disobedience.
Hey! Jack, old green stuff told us not to come here.
Continue your search for artifacts and eco. If the locals possess precursor items, you know what to do.
Deal harshly with anybody who strays from the village. We will attack it in due time.
What are we doing here anyway, Jack? This place gives me the creeps. Huh? Oh, stupid precursor junk. Eek! What is that dark ooze? It sure don't look friendly. The sage yaps on about the precursors that built this place all the time. Where did they go? Why did they build this crap? Now, I like precursor orbs and power cells as much as the next guy. But if you ask me, they must have been real losers. Wow! How did you do that? I think we're in trouble! Ow! Man, that stung! I told you we shouldn't have come here, and you listened! What? Okay. I'm fine.
What in green tarnation do you two want?
I was...
Don't tell me! Instead of heeding my wisdom, the two of you went mucking around in the only place that I told you not to go. Misty Island.
That's right, and then...
And, Daxter, you finally took a much-needed bath, but in a bathtub filled with dark eco.
Look, old man, are you gonna keep yapping, or are you gonna help me out of this mess?
I'm gonna keep yapping, because in my professional opinion, the change is an improvement. And besides, I couldn't help you if I wanted to.
What?
There's only one person who has studied dark eco long enough to have a chance at returning you to your previous form. Carl Acheron, the Sage. But he lives far to the north. Far, far to the north. Nobody has spoken to him in ages. I would teleport you there, but I can't do that either. None of the three sages that maintain the other teleporter gates have seen fit to turn their ends on for quite a while. The only other way north is by foot through the Fire Canyon, but its volcanic soil is hot enough to melt precursor metal. You can't just walk through it.
But you could fly over it, if you had a zoomer equipped with a heat shield. I just happen to be working on such a thing at this very moment. All I would need is 20 power cells to give it enough energy to withstand the canyon's heat. Isn't that right, Daddy?
Yes, Kira, that might work. But where are a boy and a half going to get 20 power cells?
From the villagers. Most of them have a power cell or two stashed away somewhere. And even if they aren't willing to just give them away, greasing their palms with a few precursor orbs should do the trick. And I bet there are even more of them out in the wilds just waiting for some brave adventurer to find.
Well, we've got the brave adventurer at least.
Brave adventurer? You two couldn't find your way out of the village without training. Before you do anything else, you better go through the warp gate and get some practice on Geyser Rock.
We won't find any more of that dark gooey eco stuff, will we? 'Cause I'd hate to fall in again and turn into you.
Get in there before I turn you both into ferns.
Oh my god, man. Do I even have to explain why this game is so awesome? Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome to a fun and exciting new Let's Play. As you can tell, I've clearly got a really awful voice right now because I'm recovering from a head cold. Don't worry, it wasn't COVID, it wasn't anything crazy. I already tested for all that jam. But it definitely knocked me off my feet for a few days. So, yeah. This is Jak and Daxter, man. I'm gonna pause the game so I can just talk a little bit about it real quick. So, actually, you know, let's just let the music play. I love this game's soundtrack. So yeah, I actually played this way back when it first came out. This was the game that made me want to buy the PlayStation 2, okay? Man, I have not enough good things to say about this. So yeah, Seth, don't forget to show off that you actually own the game, and the other two in the series. So, yep, these are all my original copies I've had since they first came out. This is, like I said, the game that made me buy the PlayStation 2. I was always a pretty big Sony fan. I always loved to shit on Nintendo because of games like this. Just absolutely just blew that competition right out the water. But I will say the GameCube had some pretty stellar looking shit on it too. But man, this game has so much personality, so much vibe. And you know, everyone goes, oh, they need to make a reboot. No, just make a new Jak and Daxter game. I don't want a fucking reboot of the entire thing I already know really well. I don't really have an opinion because I don't actually play console games anymore. But yes, if you're noticing, we are running this on PC SX2. You will have to actually fiddle with the settings, put it into OpenGL mode. I'll leave a link in the description of the video that I found that out for. Because if you don't, your shadows will actually warp across the characters. It's really ugly, and I wanted to make sure I could find at least a temporary fix to that. So, yeah, how am I going to do this? So, Jak and Daxter is not an open-world RPG. It's just a 3D platformer. It's very solid, it's very, very fluid, it's very, very fun. It's pretty challenging. I wouldn't say it's easy. It's in the middle. I'd say it's the right challenge. The Jak and Daxter series is pretty fucking difficult later on. 2 is probably the hardest in the entire series, and it's actually my least... Well, I guess if we're going off of the classic, Jak 1's my favorite because it's so nostalgic, it has a lot of stuff to it. Jak 2 is my favorite of the 2 and 3 era, I guess. The edgy 2000s edgelord era. 3, I don't like 3 as much. I think 3 is okay, but it's just very unfocused. 2 is just my favorite, I think, probably, of those 3. But 1's just so nostalgic and fun. So I'll explain the controls really quickly, just to go about how it all works. Jak is actually very, very smooth. So the games are all pretty consistent. There's very few differences between the other 3 games, or all 3 games. So, number 1, we can't swim. We can just kind of go down like this and sort of stay in place. So, there's no swimming really that comes up. Moving around's pretty simple. Right stick moves the camera. You kind of expect that, right? No D-pad function either. This was one of the first games I ever played that required you to actually have to do this. So the square button does a straight punch, circle button does the kick, and of course we can jump, we can double jump, and then triangle lets us go into first person mode. You know, this just lets you do a couple things later on. L1 and R1 let you crouch. R2 is going to let you see your stats currently. You've only got 4 fucking hit points in this game. Yeah, that's no bullshit. This is like the same thing in all the other games except 3 pretty much. 3 is like, we'll raise it up a little bit more. So L2 also does the same thing. So when you're walking, you can roll. Now, this is crucial to movement in this game. So when you're rolling, you can do this and hit jump, and you'll do a long jump like this. And then you can also do combinations of moves by, like, square. This does this kind of ground pound sort of thing. This is used on a specific kind of thing. And then, of course, doing this is so crucial. You're going to be seeing me doing this the entire game. This actually slows you down a bit, but it also extends your hitbox out, and it lets your jumps kind of flutter. You know, I can't really explain it. I've played this game so many times. You can also do a big boy jump like this, if we do that. And you can combo things together like that. So the controls are actually fairly straightforward. They're not very complicated. And they're very, very smooth. I'd say this game and Sly Cooper 1, those have like some of the most... I'm not even gonna lie here. Sly 2 and 1 have some of the most solid controls in a game ever. This comes pretty damn close. They're so tight. Like, there's no way it's not your fault when you die in this game. It's so damn just tight. So, one thing I can also say is, how am I gonna do this LP? Level by level, pretty much. All the levels have, if we go into the pause menu, they have power cells. I'm going to be getting 100% completion. I'm going to be getting all the power cells. The precursor orbs is kind of iffy. I'm not really good at getting all those because they can kind of fuck up and they can like fall into weird spots and you can miss them really easily. So I'm not really worried about getting all of those. So the orbs are the things floating up there. So yeah, this was made by the people that made Crash Bandicoot. You probably already know that by now. Naughty Dog made the series. And as a huge Crash fan when I was a kid, I was like, I want to play the new Crash game. And then this was the new quote-unquote Crash game. So I loved it. So this green shit right here, this is called Green Eco. Every 50 of those little particles you pick up, you can get an extra piece of health. And we'll just go ahead and get started. So these are the precursor orbs. They're pretty much currency. So you do actually want to pick these up. They're actually required for a lot of the orbs in this game. Or sorry, power cells. So this is just some like, you know, do some training shit. And oh my god, the first time I saw an autosave feature in a game ever, by the way, was this screen. It was unbelievable to me that the game actually did that for you. So these red crates are kind of a throwback to Crash Bandicoot, I bet. There's 7 of these in every single level. You guys call these games like collectathons, whatever you want to call it, you know. It's pretty traditional. Find all the things, get the item. This is 150% better than Super Mario, like 64. Fuck you, I'm sorry. But, I fucking love that big bass drum drop there every time. So, basically power cells are progression. That's the good way of looking at it. And something that I fucking love about this game, it's so subtle. All of the map, everywhere you see, you can go. I mean, people like to bitch about Dark Souls being the first game to do that. No, dude, this is like the first game I ever saw as a kid that let you do that. So, Blue Eco lets you move faster, and it also lets you pick up more shit in the background, like you don't have to directly touch it, it kind of flies into you. So, and one of those big chunks of Green Eco, those are basically just extra hits. So, pretty good shit, you know, not very complicated. You have a gauge that determines how much eco you have. These are vents. They give you a full eco charge, and if you hold it, you can see some items have, like, you know, items on them that say, hey, use this on this. The game is very, very good about determining what you need to do at all times. There's very few instances in this game where it's like, I don't know what the fuck to do. So this is just some more platforming training. And as you can see, you can pick up shit with Blue Eco from a very far distance away. Killing enemies also drops green eco, because it's supposed to be like the life force in the game, you know? Like the life energy eco, whatever. There's a lot of like lore that gets expanded, but a lot of the first game gets thrown out the window after the guns get involved in the sequel. There's yellow, dark, lights. That's only at the end of the game, though. See, I already missed like a few things. I'm pretty sure I know where those orbs are at, but it's not a big deal. But Jesus, man, I love this game. It's so fucking pretty. It's so fun, you know. And I'm actually sick. Like I said, I'm recovered pretty well at this point, enough to be competent. But look at this. And I also forgot to mention, this game has a day and night cycle. The whole series does. But man, when I was a kid, like just seeing this happen as I was playing the game. This was just unbelievable, dude. Like, you have no idea until you were a small child in, like, the early 2000s and you saw this shit. It was so fucking cool. So, you can also see there's an orb collection bonus, but you don't get anything special for it. It's just, like, bragging rights, basically. I had a feeling I knew where they were at, so... We're not gonna get every single orb, but we are getting every single power cell. Now, there's no lives in this game. So, also, the first time I played this game, I was like, whoa, there's like a whole world out there. Let's go explore it. And I made the mistake of going out here as a kid. So those of you who don't know, this actually is giving me a little bit of the willies. So, if we swim out there, we're gonna get killed by a fish. And that shit scared the shit out of me as a kid so bad. It was unbelievable, but I mean, seriously, this game had so much going for it. Like, the lights turn on. You see what I mean? Like, there's so many little things in this game that just... This just blows shit out of the water for me. And something I really love about it is it's so aesthetically pleasing to look at. Like, there's little water drops, sand particles kick up. And I believe, I can't source where I heard this from, by the way, but I believe Naughty Dog, when they developed it, had the idea that everything should look asymmetrical in certain aspects to blend with the machinery of the precursor items, because they wanted it to look really natural, but also look really just, you know, visually distinct. Everything in this game is very visually distinct and not symmetrical when it needs to be. So, we'll go ahead and end the level, actually, and I'll let the cutscene play itself out, because I can't skip them either, so... You can use these things later, but it's not a big deal.
Good training, boys, but that's nothing compared to the challenges that lie ahead.
Then no problem. We got the moves, eh, Jack? We'd love to stay and chat, Big Green, but we're, itching to get on with our adventures.
Fine, fine. Adventure away, then. And while you're out adventuring, why don't you make yourself useful? My darn green eco-collectors are clogged up again. Head out to the far side of the beach and clear them out, why don't you? Follow the lamps. They'll take you right there. Now, all of you, get out of here!
So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. We'll do this level by level. We'll see you then.